sure you've got lots of space around you, no hazards and no pets. Wear something active that you can move in freely. Don't forget to have your water bottle handy and take regular drink breaks. And don't forget you can always adapt the exercises to suit you.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Zoe Francesca. I am a dancer, dance teacher and choreographer. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll know that every Sunday I post a Sunday stretch. One of my favourite stretches for you guys to try out. And today I'm going to be talking you through some of those stretches. We're going to do this video in two parts because I can't believe I've been doing this for 15 weeks. So I've posted 15 times, 15 stretches on Instagram. So I'm going to split the video into two. And in fact, when you're watching this, we will have had 2 more Sundays, so there'll be 17. It is best to hold every stretch for around 30 seconds if you want to see the progression. Please stop if anything starts to hurt. These should not hurt. You'll feel them stretching, but they should not hurt at all. Don't forget you can pause this video if you're doing it in real time and you want to hold these positions for 30 seconds, just press pause, do your stretches and then move on to the next one. If you're excited for this video, if you love stretching like me, pop a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll get into it. If you have a mat, you can pop one down if you're on a hard floor. If not, don't worry, just be careful of your knees with this one. So the first stretch that I posted, Sunday stretch, is a hip flexor stretch. So we're just going to kneel down on our mat, 1 foot forward, 1 knee down, making sure that this leg here is at a right angle to the floor. We want to have our hands here just for balance, and you want to push this hip down towards the ground. So it's a nice hip flexor stretch for here. These are your hip flexor muscles here at the front of your leg. You just want to breathe in to all these stretches, making sure you're keeping your body up and you're just pushing this hip down. If that is fine for you, then you can adjust your leg further back. The idea is to get this hip to the floor. That's probably not possible, but the idea is pushing that hip down to the floor. If you need an extra hand, if you can't feel it as much, then just gently push your hand here, hold a nice stretch there. Then obviously repeat on the other side, so exactly the same. Knee up, making sure it's a right angle with the floor, pushing that hip down into the ground. The benefits in dance of this stretch is anything that's using one leg forwards and one leg backwards, for example, splits, leaps, kicks, anything like that, because you're helping to loosen these hip flexor muscles so that this leg can work on being extended at the back. Stretch number 2 is for our calf muscles, this muscle here at the back of our leg. So it's a similar position to the one we've just done on the floor, but we're standing up. So we want one leg backwards and one leg forwards. Now it's really important that both feet are facing straight forwards. So we're not turning out our feet and they're definitely not turning them in. We're just having them one in front of the other, facing the same way as if they're on an imaginary line. Hands on your hips or wherever you need to balance. We are just bending our front knee, really keeping that heel down on the ground, and it's really important to keep this back leg straight. So you want to push that heel down into the ground. You might need to adjust your feet a bit more, but not too wide. And really push that down. You should feel it all down the back of this leg. Don't forget to do it on the other side as well. So 1 foot back, 1 foot forwards, pushing and really keeping that heel down on the floor. If you're lifting it up, you're not going to feel it. Push that heel down so it's touching the ground. Again, similar skills in dance that you're working on here. Flexibility of one leg forwards, one leg backwards, leaps, kicks, things like that, because we're stretching this muscle, which is important for when we're doing our kicks and things like that. If this is easy for you, you can push onto a wall. This is just a bit of an advanced stretch. Hope you can see me over here. So same thing, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, pressing down, and we're leaning forwards and pushing onto the wall. Let me just check you can see that. Here we go. So 1 foot forwards, 1 foot back, pushing on the wall. Really helps you to feel that stretch. Again, make sure you do both legs. Hold for 30 seconds. Our next stretch is for our arms, so we're just going to start with our feet together, nice and planted in the ground. We're going to lift one arm over our head and hold on to our elbow behind your head if you can. If it's at the side, don't worry, that's all you can manage. You might need to look down just to grab your hand, especially if you've got a ponytail in the way like me. But we want to try and pull this arm over as much as you can and look up. So really, if your elbow is behind your head when you're looking up, it gives you that extra stretch here anyway. This is where you should be feeling it, down this muscle here. So we are lifting up here and holding. We want our arm not to be out here. We want it to be stretching down our back. That's when we really feel the stretch. So just holding here. And of course, don't forget to go onto the other arm. And if you want an advanced version of this stretch, exactly the same. We're just going to lean over away from the working arm. So whichever arm is up, just leaning away from that, and it will increase the stretch here and help you stretch all the way down your side. These moves are great for stretching out your arms when you've been doing lots of arm movements, maybe whacking, something like that. And also they help to loosen up your shoulders as well, which is always helpful. My next stretch is one of my favourites, as you'll know if you will have watched my 24-hour stretch challenge. I'll pop it here for you to look at. It is a triple whammy. We are stretching three things: our shoulders, our hamstrings and our calves. So we want to start, I'm going to show you sideways so you can see. Start with our feet apart, just wider than hip width. We are squeezing our hands together at the back and stretching, pushing our shoulder blades together so we have got straight arms. Keep on breathing as you slowly tip forwards, just as far as you can go. Now you don't want your hands to be here, you want your hands to extend and flop over with you. So our aim is to put our hands onto the floor, which I actually managed during my 24-hour challenge. Little teaser there. We are aiming to push our hands down to the floor. Don't push too hard, and don't worry if you're nowhere near. It's that feeling of pushing them over your head will really stretch out your shoulders. Also, you want to keep your legs completely straight, and you want to try and push your heels down into the ground again. So we're just tipping over. Nice here, so you don't want to go over that way. You want to push your heels down and just look underneath through your legs to try and put your hands on the floor. This move is great for stretching out your legs. You can really feel it all the way down your legs, which will help with anything, kicks, anything that you use your legs with, flexibility-wise in dance. And it also really helps to stretch out your shoulders, which is great for moves like the scorpion stretch. Definitely not going to do that one right now. Scorpion stretch, or just anything that you need your shoulders to be really flexible for. The next stretch I used to hate, and now it's one of my favourites, so grab your mat again if you need. We are stretching our hips in this one. There are two different versions of this, an easier version and a slightly harder version. So we'll start with the easier version. We want to lie on our tummy on the floor. We are going to put our knees to the side. Oh, hold on, lift your feet up first. Put your knees out to the side and touch your toes together. So depending on your turnout will determine how far your legs can go out, and we want to squeeze our toes together, and we want to try and squeeze our feet down to the ground. Believe it or not, this is me squeezing my feet down to the ground. I do not have very good turnout. Some people will be flat on the floor, some people might be up here. Just depends on your turnout, but we want our knees to be on the floor, our hips to stay down on the floor, and pushing your toes down to the ground. This stretch will help with anything box split wise, box jumps, box splits, anything that you need turnout for, pliés, things like that. This will help with those. The slightly harder version is called the frog, something like that. So we want our weight on our hands. Now this time our hips aren't going on the floor, so we're just starting with our knees out to the side. Now we want our knees to be in line with our hips, so we don't want to be forwards, we don't want to be backwards, we want our knees to be in line with our hips and our feet on the floor this time, just apart. You can rest on your elbows, that's more comfortable for me. So we're just pushing our knees to the side and trying to get our pelvis to touch the floor. So making sure that your knees are in line with your hips again, just pushing down to the floor and keep breathing through this one. You might get stuck at the end, but it's a great one for working on that turnout really here in your hips. The next stretch again is lying on the floor, and it is for our back, particularly our lower back. I've got two versions of this again, so I will show you both. First one, we're just going to start by lying on our back. So lying down, squeezing both our feet down towards the ground, arms out to the side. We'll start with our right leg, so squeeze in your right leg. And we want our right arm to the side. We're going to use our left hand to pull our right knee over to our left side. Getting a nice twist here. We want our right knee to touch the floor. We also want our right shoulder to touch the floor. You may not get there, but that's the feeling you want, that twist here. Really good for your lower back. So try and push your right knee down and your right shoulder down to the floor. And you want to look at your right hand, the hand that's stretching out. Such a good stretch for your lower back here. Breathe into it again, don't forget. And then again, don't forget to try the other leg, squeeze in. You really want as well this bottom leg to stay pushed down to the ground. So this time, this is my left leg, right hand, pulling over to my right side. So you want the left leg touching the floor and your left shoulder over here touching the floor. Look towards your left hand that's stretched out. The second version of that stretch is on your tummy. So we are lying here, straight down, legs squeezing, both arms out to the side. This one's a slightly more advanced version. I'm going to start with my right leg. So I'm lifting my right leg up and turning it to try and touch this left hand. Keeping this left leg stretched down to the floor. It's a really good stretch here for a twist, and then back again. I could try with the other leg, so lifting our left leg up this time to go to our right hand, getting a nice twist. That is an advanced version, so don't worry if that is too much, just stick with the other version. They're both twisting for our lower back, which is great for anything. Even if you've just been sat at a desk all day, anything like that, really good to twist and help stretch out your back, and also just good for back flexibility and just to loosen up those muscles. This next stretch is for our hip flexors again, and also our quads, these muscles here. This again is one of my favourite stretches. I could sit like this all day. So we're just going to start by sitting down, and we're going to have one leg forwards in a right angle and the other leg to the side in a right angle. We can adjust our legs after when we're in the stretch, but just start with right angles for now. We want to lean both our hands back so that we're sitting like this. Really important to keep both your knees on the floor. If you're doing that, you're not going to stretch everything. So keep both your knees pressed on the floor. We are lifting this right hip up. So this is my left leg, this is my right leg, and this right hip lifting up, just stretching back. If you can't really feel that, then go down to your elbows at the back. If you can, don't worry, just stay there. Again, pushing those knees down. This is such an attractive position. If you can't feel that, lie down, which is where I would go. So just pushing both our knees down to the ground and pushing that hip up to the ceiling is such a good stretch for these hip flexor muscles and this thigh muscle down here as well, our quads. If you're just lying here like this, relaxing, you're not going to feel it, your knees are going to come up. So push those knees down and really actively push that hip up to the ceiling. Don't forget to try on the other side as well, but just remember to go down in stages. So we're here with our hands, then we go down to our elbows, this very attractive pose, and then we go down all the way, again pushing that hip up towards the ceiling. The next stretch is stretching our shoulders, our back and our hip muscles. So we are just going to start by kneeling down and sitting on our knees. So just nice and relaxed here. We are going to reach forwards, trying to put our head onto the floor. So we just want to stretch out, trying to keep your head on the floor. Now you want to push so your knees are pushing down, so we're not lifting up like this. We're just sitting on our knees still. Don't worry if your bum comes off a bit like mine. just stretching our hands forwards. It's important that we're not curving, we're just stretching forwards. If you're only here, that's fine, just keeping a nice straight back. If you can relax and go forwards even further, that's great. You want your arms straight and you want to try and push your shoulders down to the floor to really stretch out those shoulders here. It's also great for your back across here and also around your hips to stretch those out. Resting your head on the floor, really stretching those arms and pushing your shoulders down to the floor. Now an extra stretch for your shoulder here is to feed one arm through the other hole, arm hole here. Keep your palm down, stretch that arm and push this shoulder down to the floor. It's really great stretch for your shoulder. If I do the other arm, I'll show you, you're stretching all around here of your shoulder. Just look through the gap as well. That is going to conclude our Sunday Stretches Part 1 video. I hope that's helped, just talking through some stretches. It's harder to explain it on a picture. If you're not following my Instagram, then go ahead and do that because I'll be posting every Sunday. I'm going to keep this up until I run out of stretches. P.S. If anyone wants to know, this lovely co-ord outfit is from Primark. You can see it in my Primark haul. I'll pop it here. Really comfy, really great for stretching, as you could just see, and really cute. I hope you've enjoyed this video and keep an eye out for Sunday Stretches Part 2. I'm literally going to film it right now after this one, so keep an eye out for that. It will be up in a week or two. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.